Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and some further information comes out about what OpTic Texas's announcement could be just around the corner. Simp and Co are also going at it once again with regard to the smoke grenade. Simp versus Kenny, drama kicking off on the timeline as a result of smokes maybe getting GA'd once again. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button, it's the best thing you can do to help this channel reach new people, and please do subscribe as well if you have not yet already. First of all, this from LAG, don't forget what Gunless is all about. Tried 4 days until the kickoff classics. Just some tweets, just getting the hype ready to go, frankly, for the new season. That the purple looks always pretty good on LAG, and maybe going to be a much better team than we saw in the previous year. I saw a funny clip, it was actually came out on Reddit last night, was that pre-season when Cellium, of course, on LAG last year was like, look, okay, we might not be the most talented team in the league, but our hard work's going to, outweigh the talent effectively, and, we're going to be very competitive. We'd been it like before in 4v4, boots on the ground games. Didn't really work out for them last year as it did back in World War II, and maybe this year will be different, right, with LA Guerrillas theoretically upgrading it pretty drastically. This we looked at yesterday morning, of course, with Shotzi saying big announcement soon, and kind of, showed a few things of what might be going on with the OpTic team right now. Now, Hex doesn't really seem to mind too much about this, because he tweets this out yesterday, basically, doing some sort of trick, right? Well, he makes Illy fall for this trick. The face that Illy makes is actually hilarious here, because he kind of falls for it. But you can see in the background, actually, just before we share this, once again, Esports Stadium Arlington, so pretty clear this is from the same thing that what Shotzi was talking about yesterday, where all the team is here doing some sort of shoots for something or other. We imagine, like, the theory was that it's something to do with the fact that, they're getting the license for the Esports Stadium for, like, the next 8 years or something to use it as their venue in Texas. But there's some potential it could be something else. I'm pretty sure this is the screenshot coming up here in a second, or at least, like, the meme reaction that might be pretty good for Ellie. So it's like, okay, what's exactly is going on here? He turns back to Ellie. I mean, look at his face, right? Absolutely fantastic stuff. So, anyway, this is, like, potentially what's going on. This seems like they're doing something at the Esports Stadium. At the same time, though, could be something like people were saying, okay, the OpTic Nation channel is it's now called, the OpTic Texas channel is different. Like, could a Changes team be coming through? I know that Hex has said that OpTic Nation is ready to go as a Changes team when, when the call-up is required. Like, maybe, let's say, as we discussed yesterday, whether the pro teams are mandated to have an academy, or whether they think it's worth it, maybe there's a time to step in. But I can't really see that being the case right now, because I don't really see what's changed in the last year or so, why Changes is now a more appealing prospect, frankly, than it was last time. If anything, it's the other way around, right? So I'm not really sure that's going to happen, but still, something to keep your eyes on over the coming days. This is also from Doug St. Martin, because, of course, a couple of days ago, we discussed how he got hacked on, supposedly, in the Cup and placed top 124. Then he found some clips of proof, sent them to the game battles guys. They banned them off the team, and banned them until, like, 2049 or something. Now, we didn't get to see all of these clips, so seemingly a lot of the clips just went straight to GB, and they didn't really get out to the public. We saw some of them which didn't really seem to have all that much, like, all that much incriminating evidence, let's just say. But this also was noticed a couple of days ago. There was a clip that came out of Visor Talks, one of the guys considered cheating, or kind of the main suspect here from Doug St. Martin's side, saying that he was, planning on cheating because he had a bad day or something, and he was getting ready to download some cheats in the Warzone side. So doesn't exactly help his case, to be honest. And then yesterday he comes out with kind of like an addressing sent to in the community type twit longer, and Doug comes out in the reply, "You ruined it for yourself. Don't play victim and act like I'm the reason you're banned. My teammates were the ones who accused you, submitted proof on you, and the admin made his decision. Keep my name out of your mouth," he says. So yeah, Doug St. Martin's had enough, to be honest. I don't know if these guys are still banned until 2049, but it's still quite a remarkable situation. Doug with a bit of an update, definitely firing some shots as is tradition at this point. Let's talk about some more shots being fired then on, firstly from Drazah with the smoke situation. So there's a real big discussion going on right now as to what GAs should be here in Vanguard, because we know that snipers, there was a talk about that, snipers were going to be gone. Then okay, the reason apparently why snipers were going to be gone was because smokes were gone, because smokes are broken. So they added something into the game rules this year where at close ranges they act slightly differently to longer ranges. So if you're like kind of near a smoke, you might be able to see through it slightly. And the problem is the aim assist is the discussion here. Like, it's what ranges do you get aim assist? You get aim assist slightly through a smoke. Like, if you're on the edge of a smoke and you're kind of close range, you might be able to see through it a little bit, whereas someone from further back won't be able to see it. So the idea is you can kind of push up close to a smoke, and this was the idea that you could kind of see through it at a close range, which honestly isn't great because it creates some inconsistencies. The pros don't like it, and there's a facility to one-way someone, right? Like, if you get close to a smoke in a certain corner of it and play tactically and deliberately, then you can kind of see through it and maybe kill someone that can't see you the other way. So as a result of this, a lot of the pros think smokes have to go, therefore there might not be any way to counter the snipers, therefore snipers have to go as well. That at least is the logic. Now, Drazah isn't happy with smokes, but Simp doesn't agree, and this is kind of interesting, really. So as Revan and JCap really come in the replies here, run faster, then try using more tactical tactical, so I guess there's some other options as well. If, if smokes aren't there, we'll just use some more tacticals for whatever the case might be. And, well, JB is apparently not having the greatest time in whatever this scrim set might have been going on that New York were playing. But, well, this is what Simp has to say. So you're horrible, he says, just proving how bad you can use the smoke and how broken it is right now. So, well, and then as Simp says here, yeah, but then again, it's really up to the player to decide to one-way. See why you do it, though, with a kind of this kind of face, right? So it's basically saying, look, it's on the player. If they want to abuse this glitch which is in the game, or I think it's actually intended in the game, right, where if you come close to the smoke, you can kind of see through it, but it's on the players to actually decide to use that. Now, if you decide to do it, like he's basically saying, look, you've got to use this, or you decide to do it because you're not good enough, right, to not abuse this bug, I suppose, that some people would consider it to be in the game. So as he says, it's up to the player to decide whether to do this. And anyway, Kenny comes in the replies from LA Thieves, I guess defending his teammates. Bro, stop this fake way of trying to start beef. So kind of saying that, Simp and maybe some of the FaZe guys as of late have kind of, been saying things on the timeline to instigate beef that might not really be there, but just trying to spark things up and spark some interesting drama. Because we even learned earlier today, we talked about that Simp had said LA Thieves, they're kind of off the pace right now. And, well, Simp's coming back at some of these guys again. And this I thought was quite interesting, though, from Simp, because basically Drazah saying, look, everyone's using this kind of one way, we've got to get rid of the smokes. But he says, look, I haven't been one-wayed once in a scrim, and I scrim S&D every single day. How has it not happened to me if it can happen whenever, I guess is what he's trying to get across there. So basically saying, look, most of the people who play against me, they're not using this, but, Drazah might be using it, right? See why you do it, though, as he said earlier on. Now, as Kenny says, from what I heard, we're trying it at the kickoff to see how broken smokes are. Don't see how it's an issue with how you use it, if that's the intended way of keeping it or taking it out. So it's kind of tough to decipher exactly what's going on. But, as Simp kind of says, and generally what the pros seem to think right now, if we take smokes out, snipers have to go too. So if everyone could just not be a freak, that would be preferred. So, basically saying, look, I guess what he's saying, look, don't abuse the smokes, and therefore, snipers can stay in as well, and therefore we can actually use both in the rule set. So I wonder how this will go, because I'm sure the pros are going to do a lot of complaining that, this is kind of as Kenny says, and it is understandable, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens if someone gets unintentionally one-ways and we're stuck deciding if it was on purpose or not. That's the thing, if there's this one-way bug that the pros are kind of GAing, okay, don't go into a smoke, don't look through this corner of it so you get to see someone that can't see you, if the pros are saying, look, don't do that, then what happens in Champs Grand Finals when someone dies to something like that, and all of a sudden it's okay, was that unintentional? Do they mean to do it? Who knows? So I think these are going to cause some problems, and it may be at the point where pros get increasingly frustrated with players maybe unintentionally or intentionally using this, and therefore they get rid of smokes, therefore snipers go as well. Maybe the developers could step in to fix the smokes before we get to that point, or whether the CDL could step in and say, look, actually, okay, if you're getting rid of smokes, we're still keeping snipers. There's ways to counter them with grenades and all this other type of stuff that you might be able to use to counter them, or just put a sniper on your own team. That, I guess, is an option as well. So interesting discussion, I'm sure, to continue to be had. Octane, well, obviously he's on the same team with Drazah, not necessarily sure he agrees, but generally we saw that every single team, 12-0, apparently voted for the sniper GA before it kind of came public, and then people changed their vote, right, due to the backlash. So it seems like Octane probably does kind of agree with snipers going, but he's a pretty good sniper himself. As he says, nice tweet, just stun it, right? So maybe, stun it instead of the smokes. I don't know, stuns are obviously very strong in this game as well. This also just maybe another example, really, of, Simp and the guys on FaZe trying to rile a little things up before the start of the season, and kind of to some degree going into that villain role. I don't think it really fits their personality as well as it did to the likes of Crim and Aches and stuff like that, but still kind of interesting. Can't believe we were undefeated last year. I'm pretty sure they were 11-0. They went into LAG, right, and they took them down. That's when Vivid, of course, was on the team, and what else he says, you got dropped right after, dude, in the replies. Pretty funny, really, but of course, I don't really think it was Vivid's fault he necessarily got dropped. At least there was some talk about this, right? Why did Vivid get dropped? I think he basically said to the team, this team isn't going to win, we need to make some changes, and they basically, and he was getting frustrated the fact that they weren't dropping anyone else on the team, and then they just put him to the bench, right? He eventually goes to Dallas Empire, and now he's on Florida Mutineers, of course, going into this season. This also I thought was kind of funny, right? Just to kind of on this same vein, eazy Mack, the analyst for Atlanta FaZe, he hops into some sort of grocery store in the FaZe hoodie. By the way, Minnesota Rokkr are better. So to be fair, we didn't get all that many Rokkr versus FaZe matches last year, and we'll see how good Rokkr are this season, because definitely the team to me that didn't necessarily upgrade, but in Search and Destroy, they should be very good. They do have some firepower there, no doubt, with Standy on the team, but still I think some work to be done for these guys to consistently get back to the top. We know that Attach generally gets his slice of the pie, right? So maybe you'll find a way to do a similar thing at once again this year. This also just a couple of things to finish out with, right? Which one's going out? Now, I'm pretty sure OpTic put this one on Instagram, but instead of Black Ops 3, I think they put Warzone here, and pretty much everyone that I saw in the replies was like, lol, Warzone, that's out of there immediately. And to be fair, I've barely ever played Warzone at all. It's just not really my thing, frankly. So, yeah, looking at these classic games. To me, I think it'd be Modern Warfare 3. I think this is maybe a hot take, because some people say that Modern Warfare 3 is super underrated, but to me, it just wasn't quite it. I played a bit of Modern Warfare 2, and I think like Modern Warfare 3, I personally didn't quite like. I did really like the campaign in Modern Warfare 3, to be fair, but I think like multiplayer and stuff, like Modern Warfare 2 obviously was broken, but you know, it has a place in a lot of people's hearts, and Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 are never going anywhere in a million years. So these would be my number 1, number 2, like probably number 1, number 2, to be honest. And then, you know, maybe Modern Warfare 3 has to go. Probably one of the Call of Duties that, you know, is considered to be a classic and pretty good, but I didn't really have too much fun on, but people generally disagree on that. And just to mention, this as we close out the video, I thought an interesting discussion between Adam Fitch and Monte Cristo on the timeline about what we can realistically expect from Activision Blizzard and the CDL. That's kind of the issue, really, that Activision Blizzard are kind of a publisher. They make games, they make money by selling the games. Therefore, like, can you really expect them to do the best thing for the esports league when effectively they see that as marketing? Now, of course, I think it's probably short-sighted to not consider the CDL to be important and just consider it to be marketing, given for the long-term success of your game, a competitive, healthy ecosystem is very important. So I think it's a bit myopic, but as Adam Fitch says, expecting Activision to do what's best for the CDL is a pointless endeavor, as it does not align with the mission to squeeze as much money out of the COD franchise as is humanly possible, which might be true in the short term. My perspective would be in the long term, the success of the CDL is actually very important to squeezing as much money out of the COD franchise, because the competitive side is actually going to help keep Call of Duty alive much longer than potentially it would without a successful competitive scene. At best, Activision maybe and should, this would be kind of interesting, hand over operations and structural design to Esports Engine, who of course are doing that exact thing for Halo. This is why dev-operated esports are a bad conflict of interest. They don't want to do what's best for the league. They want to keep the sales momentum of the COD title going by having the CDL start months after the game release and generating fresh hype. So that might be the reason why lately we've seen the CDL kind of at the start of the league drag on so long. And of course, it's a frustrating one for us as fans. And maybe in future years they'll bring it back, because back in the day things used to start straight away. That didn't really seem to affect the sales of the game. But very much intrigued to get your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us the YouTube gods this is a good video. I just like you should see it as well, and upgrade the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I will see you next time.